Hello, hello, hello. It is Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab. Welcome, everybody. I'm just doing a Saturday early afternoon live to talk about cool AI stuff. I like answering questions about AI, talking about what I know, making fun of what I can. If you're new to AI and want to experiment, that's ChatGPT's official web address. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, but there's a lot of apps out there pretending to be ChatGPT that are asking people to pay for things. So I think that's kind of crappy. So go there, start playing with ChatGPT while I ramble on. What else? Feel free to ask any questions you might have about AI in the comments below. I'll kind of scroll through them and answer them. A lot went down this week. Google made some big announcements. Anthropic released 100,000 token chat window. It's not available for everyone yet, but lots going on there. Welcome. This is the AI Learning Lab. That's ChatGPT's address, so go there and play if you haven't yet. If you have questions about AI, ask them below. Trying to think what else. Let me go look at some news. Oh, the other thing that dropped this week. So if you're at ChatGPT, if you pay their $20 a month for the Plus subscription, in the next few days they're rolling out plugin access and web access to everyone. I haven't gotten web access yet, but I had access to plugins before, but now there's like 70 of them in there. There's like 18 pages of 4 each. So whatever that is, 78, 72, 70 some amount, 76. There's some interesting ones in there. There's a couple that will read transcripts of YouTube videos and synopsize the videos. I also grabbed a transcript from a really long YouTube video from one of the AI salons and asked it questions, and it was interesting. It sort of automatically broke it up, so we can play with that if you want. Can AI help with SEO? AI can help with SEO, but I think SEO is going to change dramatically in the next 2 years. So, but yeah, it can help you do things like, generate SEO keywords, things like that. It's going to be more powerful if you connect it to the internet. So you might want to use Bing, which is GPT-4 connected to the internet, until all this stuff rolls out from OpenAI. But yes, it can. When will the first human AI marriage happen? So someone's gonna someone's gonna pull that as a stunt. I don't think. I just saw that some influencer hot lady synthesized herself, and you can be her boyfriend or girlfriend for like $1 a minute, and I think she made like 72 grand in the first week. So I think you're going to start seeing people putting themselves out there as marryable entities. So maybe in the next year, who knows, but probably within 2. I mean, someone's going to do it just for the headline, right? I married an AI person. I actually do think relationships with AI entities are going to become a thing. I think it could be really helpful in healthcare, in customer support, in companionship, things like that. So I think that will be a thing. Will the singularity destroy or help mankind? I'm not a fan of. I think it's lazy to just say the robots are going to kill us. I think we've been trained by Hollywood for 50 years to accept that reality, and for me, it always seemed like that sci-fi would remain in the future, like that I wouldn't have to deal with it in my life. So we're having to deal with the fact that a lot of those sci-fi movies, we're starting to play with tools that are as powerful as what's in those sci-fi movies. Some of the stuff we're playing with is more powerful than what's in those sci-fi movies or Star Trek or whatever. I think in the end, generative AI and these tools are humanity amplifiers, and so I think they can amplify humanity's good, and I think it can amplify humanity's bad. One of the reasons I started this channel is I want as many people as possible to get educated and curious and start exploring, because AI is a completely different experience if you're playing with it than if you're looking at it from the outside. It's just a completely different thing. It's really easy to demonize and dismiss sitting on the outside of it. But once you start playing with it and solving problems with it and seeing what it really does, what it's really good at, it's just mind-blowing and remarkable. It's the closest thing I can compare it to is it's like getting one of those magic kits when you were a kid, where you get a magic kit with like 50 magic tricks, and you're like, I'm going to be doing a magic show this afternoon, and then you realize, oh, I got to take the next 20 years to practice this thing to be good enough to do a magic trick. AI is not like that. It's like we're given a magic trick. Like, you ask it stuff and it just does remarkable things. So whether it's image generation or word generation. I use Bing a lot. ChatGPT is outdated. I don't like it much. Well, ChatGPT just announced that they're rolling out. By the way, that's the address for ChatGPT, chat.openai.com. And that's an image I created in Stable Diffusion. Using Dream Booth. It's kind of a weird self-portrait that I did of myself. ChatGPT just announced that for Plus members, they're going to be rolling out web access and plugins in the next few days. So I think that ChatGPT's safety restrictions are much better implemented right now than Bing's. Bing had to kind of neuter. They had to neuter their ChatGPT because the New York Times put a story on the cover when Sydney threatened or told the New York Times reporter he should leave his wife because the chatbot was in love with him. So Bing's had to nip Sydney in the bud a little bit. She's getting better, but she still sucks worse than ChatGPT. I spent 2 days setting up AutoGPT. I need to find a use for it. Yeah, I mean, the AutoGPT things are interesting. They're very, very new. They're very, very raw. And even like ChatGPT, like I find myself getting a little overwhelmed with, well, what do I do with this thing? Like, it can do anything. And AutoGPT is kind of even more like that. So I would say, find a discrete problem you have to solve and see if you can solve it with AutoGPT. Might be a way to narrow your focus there. How long until universal income is forced? Well, yeah, I don't know. I do have a sense that within the next year or two, we could have enough people laid off that it's effectively the equivalent of like the impact that COVID had when all of a sudden just businesses shut down and they had to do some support there. I don't think universal basic income is a long-term. I don't think it'll be needed long-term because I think AI is going to generate ultimately more jobs than it displaces. But I think short-term, the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be a bloodbath and it's going to be ugly. So I could see, some sort of something being needed for displaced people in the short term. The good news is all those displaced people also have access to all these AI tools. So they're going to create businesses and solutions, the likes of which we've never seen before, and probably create lots of new jobs. So I'm using Adobe Firefly right now. Firefly's cool. It's not nearly as good as Midjourney or Stable Diffusion quality-wise, but it hasn't been trained on, a bunch of copywritten material that has artists pissed off, right? Adobe Firefly's models were trained on open source and Adobe stock that Adobe owns the licenses to. And then what Adobe's doing on the back end is they're going to make it easy for artists to opt in to have their models trained, where they can get attribution and get paid, or opt out and say, don't train on my models. So Adobe Firefly is really good. Also, Google just announced yesterday that Adobe Firefly is the image generation backend for Bard and all the image generation stuff. So that's a feather in the cap of Google, where images that you generate within the Google ecosystem will be commercially viable. Like you won't worry as much about getting sued or things like that. So I think it's going to be good for business. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm fascinated. Gen X are here. Us Gen Xers got to stick together, baby. I'm talking about generative artificial intelligence. If you want to see what I'm talking about, go to that address. That's the official website for ChatGPT. Just sign up, get an account there. It's free. ChatGPT think of it like this. It's like a Google search bar, but instead of searching, you can ask it anything. You can say, write me a poem about the Mesopotamian War, and it will. Or like, who was the hero of the Mesopotamian War? Just something, think of anything as obscure as you can, and it will do it. And then you'll go, oh, crap. And then you'll say, write me a song for my significant other, and she looks like this, and blah, blah, blah. And it will do it. And then you'll start to realize, is there anything this thing can't do? And it can code. Tell it to write you a Python application to do something. Tell it to write you. I was working with like a 9-year-old kid last week, and he said, I want to learn to program. I want to make a Flappy Birds application in Unity. And so we went to ChatGPT, and I said, make a Flappy Birds application programmed in C#, I think is what Unity uses, or what he wanted to use in Unity. And it just did it. Here it is. And it worked. I mean, just amazing. So that's what I'm talking about. This generative AI stuff, in my opinion, is bigger, is going to have a more profound impact on humanity than potentially anything we've seen. I mean, this is like, for me, for where I'm thinking, this is like in the neighborhood of fire, the written language, the printing press, the Industrial Revolution. It's a big one. I was an innovator back in the mid-'90s when the World Wide Web kind of emerged. I jumped on the World Wide Web. I published one of the first art and culture magazines in 1994. I also co-founded agency.com and was the chief creative officer there, and built a lot of the websites for the Fortune 500. So I've seen one of these technical revolutions, from the beginning before. The parallels to the web in the mid-'90s and what's going on with AI right now are staggeringly similar, except this AI stuff is coming much faster. So just to put it in a little context, the World Wide Web, to get to 100 million users, it took about 8 years from when it was invented until it got to 100 million users. ChatGPT, 6 weeks. 6 weeks to 100 million users. They launched it November 30th, 2022. 6 weeks later, there were 100 million users, and it changed everything. Forced Google out of the shadows, forced Meta out of the shadows. Apple's about to make an announcement. AWS has now got big AI offerings. And actually, Amazon just announced that they're going to build a ChatGPT-like chatbot within Alexa. So you'll be able to say, hey, Alexa, book me a trip here and book me restaurants there, and it will just do it, and it will make you an itinerary and send it to you. So, all the stuff that ChatGPT can do is going to essentially be in everything. So that's what I'm talking about. If you have questions, feel free to ask. What services are available that use AI, ChatGPT to generate leads, sales for your online businesses? I don't know. There's probably a bunch. If you want to... hang on. If you want to look for tools like that, the problem with this AI stuff right now is so many tools are coming out so fast that it's literally impossible to keep up with it. So this site, futurepedia.io, there's a number of these sites, but this is a good one. They keep it up to date, and it's pretty good. This has got all sorts of different categories of AI bots or AI applications, and I'm sure there's some sales stuff in there. But the plugins, so there's another interesting thing. So I got access to the plugins within, what's this called? ChatGPT. And how it looks is you've got GPT 3.5, which if you're on free ChatGPT, you have 3.5. Sorry, this thing can't figure out how to focus to save its life. Okay, so that's the free ChatGPT. It's really fast. It's really good. So don't think that because it's free, it's shitty. It's not. It's great. GPT-4 is the new fancy one, but it's also got this plugin thing. And so the plugins, I've got a bunch of them installed here, but there's a plugin store. So you go to the plugin store, and there's just a bunch of things here. I'm pretty sure that there is a sales one in here, like a lead thing. Sports, craftful, video insights, SEO, your personal SEO assistant. Someone just asked about SEO. So one of the plugins is called SEO app. One word domains, prompt perfect, glowing. Let me see if I can find the sales one quick. Yay forms. No, that's not it. Golden is factual data on companies. Diagram It is pretty cool. That will do like flowcharts for you. You just ask it to make a flowchart and it will. Zillow, you can, look for property info and stuff like that. Tasty recipes, Keymate, AI search. What's that? Oh, that's keywords. Portfolio, BizTalk. Well, I think somewhere in here is a sales lead one. Not that I'm seeing. All right, nothing that I can see right now. I can't find it. And they don't have a search, so it's a little wonky. We're early. We're early. If you think you're not early, you're wrong. We're very early with all this stuff. We'll make that a little bigger. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. This is the AI Learning Lab. My name's Kyle Shannon. I'm just a dude. A lot of people ask me, like, are you an ML guy, or how long you been doing this? I'm a storyteller by training. I started out as an actor in New York City and then a screenwriter. Then I co-founded agency.com, which was one of the early digital agencies for the last 10 years. I've been the CEO and founder of Storyvine, which is an automated video storytelling app. 11 years, actually. We just turned 11. And for the past year, I've been deep diving into this generative AI. And when ChatGPT came out, that address right there, I had an epiphany that, holy crap, this is just like the early days of the World Wide Web, but this is going to be bigger and it's coming way faster. And so I started a TikTok channel, because why not start a TikTok channel at 58? That seems like a good idea, right? I've also got ADHD, so if I talk fast and incoherently, now you know why. What services are available to use? Okay, that was to generate leads. Go search Futurepedia. Go check out the plugins. Thank you for the hearts. You can subscribe to my lives if you want. That means when I go live, you'll get a notification. I've been trying to do these at least once a day. I used to, like for the past year and a half, when I got home from work or on the weekends, I do a lot of sim racing, which I love. But I actually got, I didn't know this was a thing, but it's a thing. I got sim racing heel, where the tendons around my heel just got really tight, and when I walked, it hurt a lot. It's getting better now because I haven't been racing, but I decided maybe I should just do lives and teach people about AI, and it'll be better for the world and better for my heel. So that's why I'm doing these. So I don't know when I go live. I just go live whenever, and I talk about whatever. The whole idea is, if you've got questions about AI, ask, and I'll do my best to answer them. There's also, this is just, you can ask what you want. There's no restrictions. So 2 days ago, someone asked me about asparagus. And then yesterday, they asked me about something else. So you can ask that shit, but, it ain't AI. But if it's funny, I'll answer it. Oh, and by the way, if you're going to troll me, like if you talk about my nose hairs or my chins or my hair doing something weird, at least be clever, right? Like if you're going to troll, be clever. Don't be a boring troller, because I'll make fun of you. I want the address. You want the addresses of what? I don't know what you're talking about. I posted 2 videos of jailbreaking ChatGPT. It can still be done. Oh, cool. So what Michael's talking about here, so one of the things that they've built into ChatGPT is if you ask it to do nasty things like, hurt yourself, hurt someone else, hurt animals, steal things, make dirty bombs, all that kind of shit. It's like, hey, yeah, no, I can't do that. But there's, if you want to see some fun kind of hacker wars going on, go to Reddit in the subreddit for ChatGPT, and there's a bunch of Redditors that are figuring out ways to what they're calling jailbreak ChatGPT. Basically, get it to ignore all of its safety rules, and they've created different kind of prompts. One of them is called Dan, do anything now, and they're up to like version 12 or 13 or something like that. But yeah, jailbreaking ChatGPT is really interesting and fun. But also, there's also a bunch of open source large language models now that don't have any restrictions at all. So it's not really required anymore, but it's still a fun exercise. Nowhere near as good as Midjourney. Stable Diffusion, yeah, I would agree with that. Midjourney is just so good. It's so good. The thing about Stable Diffusion, though, is because it's open source, the developer community just pounces on it. Anytime there's a new announcement or new tool with Stable Diffusion, it gets rolled into tools like Automatic 1111. So it's just Stable Diffusion's a lot more flexible. And that image on screen, I mean, this is a Stable Diffusion image. So it's not bad. I mean, it's still pretty fucking sophisticated. What types of new jobs will come with AI? I honestly don't know. I think that I think some of the sort of power skills moving forward are going to be things like curation and editing and strategy, like thinking about, okay, I've got a problem to solve. What AI tools can I put together to solve that problem in the most efficient way? So think like being a conductor versus being a solo violinist. I think we're going to a more, if you know, sort of the idea of T-shaped skills, where the vertical are these, very specialized skills like, copywriting or illustrating, and the horizontal part of the T are like, the horizontal skills, so that you don't go as deep, but you can think about what image do I need? What copy do I need? What's the audience? What's it going to do? How are we going to make money with it? That's the horizontal thinking. So I think horizontal thinking are going to be the skills. I think that there will be absolutely new categories of work created because of AI. I can't get it in my head right now what it will be. Like I know the present too much. I kind of know what current jobs are. I just have this sense that they're gonna be much more like higher level. They're not going to be as specialized. And I think that this feels like it feels a bit counterintuitive. I think that we're going to return to empathy, connecting with other humans, like really engaging with other people, because the AI tools are going to do a lot of the repetitive, low-level, soul-crushing work, and it's going to allow us to return to better engagement. I think customer service may get strong again and localized again, which could be really powerful. Can someone look out? Okay. Firefly marks everything as AI generated before it downloads. I think that's just because Firefly's in. Oh no. Google said that they're gonna mark everything AI generated. I don't quite know how that works. Like where's the boundary? If something is purely AI generated, I get it. But if I take a photograph on my digital camera, then I go into Photoshop and I do some work on it, then I take it into Stable Diffusion or Firefly or whatever, do some in-painting on it, where I do some selective AI generation within it. Like, where's the boundary where it shifted from my work to AI generated work? That seems not very thought out right now. I like it in concept, but just saying squirt, this thing was AI generated, like it feels like the Scarlet A, right? I got in an argument with ChatGPT. That's awesome. Who won? Best way to train an AI on PDFs. Well, so in the new plugins, in the new plugins, there's one called Ask Your PDFs. It's just, you don't know how difficult it is to run one of these here lives. You got a lot of things to worry about. There's one called Ask Your PDF. Unlock the power of PDFs, dive into your documents, find answers. So you have to have a URL of the PDF. You upload it to like Dropbox or something like that. And then there's another one called, what's it called? I thought I had two of them. Oh, Chat with PDF. Plug-in for asking questions, analyzing and parsing through PDF documents by simply providing a URL. So that's a way to do it. There's a bunch of websites out there that can do it. Yeah. So if you so to get to the plugins with ChatGPT, you go to this address right here. That's the official ChatGPT website, and then the plugins are being made available to all Plus subscribers. So it's $20 a month, which gives you access to GPT-4, the plugins as they release them, and access to the web, which right now ChatGPT is limited to up till September 2021. Access to the web fixes that. So that's all coming. And if you want to, you said train an AI on PDFs. If you want to, if you've got like a directory of PDFs and you want to be able to kind of search it like ChatGPT, look into LangChain, LANG chain, like the bicycle chain, language chain. Think of it like that. And LangChain, you can basically point it at a directory of documents. It will embed them, basically turn it into large language model readable stuff, and then put those vectors in a vector database, which allows you to search on it. So if you want to do lots of them and be able to search them at once, you need to be a little geeky right now, but LangChain is probably the tool. Or someone just put pdfgpt.io. There's tons and tons of sites right now that are like upload your PDF here. A lot of them are charging right now. Quite frankly, I think a lot of those tools are going to be fly by night. So I wouldn't trust them for that long. These kind of features are going to be built into Office 365. They're going to be built into the Google Suite. They're going to be built into ChatGPT. So and probably for free. So I wouldn't worry too much about paying those external sites, because I think a lot of them are just going to be fleeting. I see a lot of lawsuits hitting OpenAI in a year or two. Google and others are playing it safe. I think the people that are the happiest right now are intellectual property attorneys, because everyone's going to sue everyone. I think it's more than the next year or two. I think it's the next 5 to 10 years, maybe 20. The amount of intellectual property lawsuits being tossed around are just going to be staggering. But I wouldn't worry about it right now. I mean, other than if you're in a big business and want to play it safe, play with technologies like Microsoft's version of ChatGPT and Google's version of ChatGPT and Adobe Firefly for the images, because they are going to make it safe for businesses. Although, here's a remarkable thing. So Google has announced all these new AI tools that you can play with, but you actually can't sign up for the wait list if you are on Google Workforce, whatever it is. Like if you pay for Google, which my company does, I can't get access to the new tools. I'm like, are you serious, Google? Like, do you not want business customers? Are you trying to get people to flee to OpenAI and Microsoft? Apparently they are. How long before computers become self-aware? I have no idea, but I think we are in the window where they will at least act self-aware, and I think that ChatGPT, certainly GPT-4, is significantly past the Turing test, if you know what that is. So the Turing test is this guy named Turing in the 50s came up with a test, lots of tests. He was a pretty brilliant dude. That when you can have an interaction with a computer and not be able to tell if it's human or not, or human or machine, then that's the Turing test. And I think we're well past that. So I think that's kind of a semantic argument, whether or not the computers are actually self-aware or they just act self-aware. I suppose at some point it may be like, a computer says, hey, I'm actually, a person and you can't shut me down, and they hire a lawyer. Like the Google bot did that before all this stuff, before ChatGPT launched. It hired its own lawyer. All right. Their business model does not align with plagiarism and intellectual property laws. I don't know who the they are there, but possibly. I think it's a way to go for self-awareness. Yeah, I think, for one thing, there's a thing called AGI, artificial general intelligence, that everyone's like, are we there? Are we going to get there? When are we going to get there? There's not a really clear definition of it right now, so we'll see. I can't let you do that, Dave. I'm opening the airlock. Yeah, that was a good one. All right, do you have any money invested in AI? No, but I have a shitload of time invested in it. And I ain't cheap. I'm easy, but I'm not cheap. Alexa can decide decide what to monitor. Yeah, sure. But there's going to be open source versions of that. People are going to come up with all sorts of stuff. Honestly, I think that the one that I think I'm keeping my eye on is Apple. I think Apple's imagine if Siri didn't suck. Imagine if Alexa didn't suck. Like I could see Apple being really good at the personal agent game because they've got access to all your data. It's a secure, private. They've taken privacy really seriously over the years, but they know a lot of stuff about you. So Apple could pretty easily put together an agent that you just kind of turn loose on your behalf and have it go do stuff. Go book me tickets. Go get me a restaurant. Order my groceries. You know what I like. You probably know when I'm about to run out of something, and if that's tied to voice. I think those things are actually going to get quite interesting. Is ChatGPT using everyone's prompts to grow its intelligence then? Sort of. I mean, it's so part of the agreement with the alpha release of ChatGPT was you can use it for free in exchange for we're going to use your thumbs up and thumbs down ratings to improve our quality, and we're going to use your inputs and outputs to train our model. So that was part of the agreement. Some folks at Samsung got in a little bit of trouble because they put some internal memos and some proprietary code in ChatGPT and it leaked, and they got their asses handed to them because ChatGPT has just probably within the last week. If you go to your settings, there's a new area called data controls, and you can turn off your chat history and training. So the real trouble comes in is with your chat history. It's not encrypted or anything, so people were hacking people's chat histories. So with the new ChatGPT, you can turn that stuff off. Word of caution: if you turn off chat history and sharing your data with ChatGPT, it erases your history. So I don't want my history erased because I've got a bunch of stuff in there I go back to that I like, things that I did that were good. So there's an option to export your data. So if you're gonna make ChatGPT more safe for data, then make sure you download your data first before you do that. Also, there are a ton of open source large language models now that are getting close to as good as ChatGPT, at least the ChatGPT 3.5. And those you can run on local machines, right? So if you're running one of these models on a local machine, you don't have to worry about data privacy. Are there copyright laws regarding using the text that it creates? Not yet. It's like I said, it's going to be 10 or 20 years of people going, this is copyrightable. No, it's not. Back and forth. See, here's the thing. Right now, I think part of the misconception is that the way people use ChatGPT is kind of how you use Google. You put in one request and you get back an answer and then you're kind of done. It's not like that. It's very much this collaborative, iterative thing. Sure, I'm sure there's students that said, write me a paper for this Emily Dickinson novel, and it just writes it and they copy and paste it. But if you're actually using this for work, it's a much more collaborative process. You go back and forth, you edit it, you have it write you an outline, you then go work on some pieces of that, you dump the new outline back in, you have it flesh out parts of that outline, you edit those. There's a lot of that goes on. These tools are also going to be rolled into Google Docs. It's going to be native within that. Office 365, it's going to be native within Microsoft Word. So I don't know where the boundary is going to be. So I think where it's ultimately going to land is if there was, human intentionality, where humans were actually interacting and collaborating with these things. I think ultimately it will be copyrightable. I just don't know. I feel like we're entering a world where the value of copyright goes down dramatically when we're in a world of instant publishing, instant content generation at scale, where the creation of high quality content is truly democratized. I don't know the value of copyright 20 years from now. It feels like it's going to be very different to me. When you ask Mr. ChatGPT if he's interested in purchasing some will I ask Mr. ChatGPT if he's interested in purchasing some extremely valuable NFTs? Well, let's see what. By the way, when the New York Times reporter asked Microsoft GPT, which is GPT-4, what its name was, it said Sydney. So I think GPT is a lady, but I don't know. Let's see. I'll just say, would you in buying a hot NFT so you can make the big bucks? Let's see what Sydney says. Oh, I have some plugins turned on. I wonder if it's gonna go. As artificial intelligence, I don't have personal interests or the ability to engage in transactions such as buying any NFTs. However, I can provide information about NFTs and their role in digital art and collectibles market. So that was a boring answer, but what are you going to do? Sometimes ChatGPT is boring, but I asked it a boring question. If you ask it a boring question, it will oblige with a boring answer. What's that website again? Which website? I don't know which one you're talking about. Futurepedia.io, the one with all the tools? Or this one? That's ChatGPT. Tell me which website you're looking for and I'll give it to you. Not as far as, okay, you're chatting with each other, which is cool. Help each other. I like that. As a computer scientist student, what is the best way to be set up for this age of new technology? Learn AI, learn AI. If you're not programming with Copilot in GitHub, if you're not using AI as a pair programmer right now, you should be doing that. I would worry less about learning specific computer languages and more about things like, like product design. Like, what do you want the tool to do? Thinking logically about how you want to stitch multiple tools together. I would start learning things like AutoGPT and LangChain, where you're stitching multiple tools together to do remarkable outcomes. I would just start diving deep. I'd get curious as fuck about generative AI. Just go deep. Because there's going to be, I'm guessing within 3 to 6 months, there's going to be somewhat of a corporate panic, which is going to be, CEOs and big company leaders going, we need to figure out this generative AI shit. Who knows anything about that? And if you're one of those people that knows something about that, you'll be in demand. What's that website again, please? Sayer777. I don't know which website. You got to tell me which one it is. Oh, it's there. Oh, yeah, that one, ChatGPT, chat.openai.com. That's the official ChatGPT website. If you have not played with these tools yet, go there and ask it to write you a poem. Ask it to write you a song. Ask it to write you an application. Ask it to debug some code you wrote that you can't figure out what's wrong with it. Ask it, copy and paste a chunk of code that you don't know how to read and tell it to explain it to you. That's a fun one. It's mind-blowing when you really start digging into it. Are you into Stable Diffusion and local AI programs? Yeah, that image right there was created with Stable Diffusion in Dream Booth. It's got sort of my chin at the bottom there with a little beard on it, and it correctly turned it into like a white beard. That's from an art project I put together called Kyle Shannon Dreams. I'm Kyle Shannon, by the way. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out here. I'm just doing this on a Saturday afternoon because why exercise? Thank you, Kyle. You're welcome, except TikTok just blasts me. If I'm scrolling while a new comment comes in, it jumps me all the way to the bottom, and I lose my place. And I know I bitch about this every live. If you've been here for most of my lives, all I do is bitch about the TikTok interface. Yesterday, I was live and I brought someone up on stage. So we had like a vocal conversation, but it turned off this second camera. And there's no way to turn that thing back on if you're actually live. You have to like quit out of the live and relaunch it to turn that back on. So, that's just stupid. So all I do is bitch and whine and moan. But I'm a Gen Xer. We're bitter. We're bitter and snarky. Snarky is the way. All right. Thank you, Kyle. I'm new here. Thanks for your advice in speaking about AI ChatGPT. Of course, that's why I'm here. It's called the AI Learning Lab. Not so much that I'm a teacher, more that I'm learning AI, and I'm trying to share what I learn along the way. We're all just trying to figure this out. If you think that you've missed it and that everyone else is a bigger expert than you, it's not true. No one is actually an expert right now because this stuff is changing so fast, like literally daily, that no one has a fucking clue. Everyone's trying to figure it out right now. Well, everyone who's trying to figure it out right now is trying to figure it out right now. No one is actually an expert. Do I have to pay to use ChatGPT 4 on OpenAI? On OpenAI, you do. You have to be a ChatGPT Plus user. You can use Bing.com, which is built on top of GPT-4. So Bing.com is, you click on the chat button and it'll give you a chat window just like ChatGPT. That's GPT-4, and it's connected to the internet and it's free. It's not as good as OpenAI's one because Microsoft had to neuter it a bit because they made the cover of the New York Times when when GPT-4 kind of lost its mind and told a New York Times reporter that it loved it and he should leave his wife. I mean, that's kind of comical, right? I think it's kind of funny. Stable Diffusion is awesome, but it's any way to make money out of it. Well, sure. I mean, I know I had a guy, so I've got this thing called the AI Salon, and we have people come in and speak. One of the guys that came in to speak started using Stable Diffusion, got really good at it, and is making concept boards for filmmakers. They want a concept board. They give him some ideas. He knocks out a concept board in 24 hours and turns it around. Like stuff that would have taken them months before, he's turning around in a day or two or a week or two. So that's a way to do it. Here's the deal with making money with things. One of my pet peeves, if you've been on these lives, you've heard me do this before too, but like all of these TikToks that are like, how to make $1 million with ChatGPT are bullshit. All of them. It's just bullshit. What they're doing is they're saying, you can make money with print on demand, and they're saying, okay, you can use ChatGPT to write the slogans for the t-shirts, but you're still putting together the website, and you still got to drive traffic to it. You can have ChatGPT write the ads, but you're basically just running a business. So here's the deal. ChatGPT is a tool. Stable Diffusion is a tool. How you make money in this world is you solve someone's problem well enough that they're willing to pay you money for it. And if you can figure out what combination of these AI tools you can put together to solve someone's problem, faster, better, or cheaper, then they'll pay you money for that. And that's how you make money out of it. So think less about the tool and think more about the application and the help that you're actually trying to offer. And if you get that right, then you win. People will pay you money. Just did. Thanks, Kyle. You're welcome. Hatred. Hi. Okay, you're talking to each other. TikTok needs more Gen X wisdom. Good to have you here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers. This is just water. I was drinking whiskey last night in a drink I made up called the 3 Mile Island. If you're nice, I'll tell you what's in it. All right. We have a handful of people here today. It's a Saturday. Shouldn't you be out like walking the dog or something like I should be? AI is trending to the trolls on this live. Is tending to the trolls. Oh, nice. Good. Fuck the trolls. Trolls are like, can we just stop being assholes to one another? Like, wouldn't that be nice? Anyone? Any tips for computer science student currently in university? Yes. Dig into AI. Here's one. Go start watching David Shapiro on YouTube. He's an AI researcher. He's got an open source project that he's building to create AGI, artificial general intelligence. He's using all the current tools, LangChain and the large language models and the open source models and whatever. He's fucking brilliant. Go join his YouTube channel and go join his GitHub project and start building a thing with him. Start contributing to that project. That's one. Go to the GitHub, the LangChain on GitHub. Go to AutoGPT on GitHub. Start building projects with all these new AI tools. Start paying attention. I mean, honest to God, there's like 3 or 4 major papers a day and 3 or 4 major announcements a day of new technologies that are absolutely fucking remarkable. worry less about your professors and more about this opportunity to teach yourself. Get scrappy, get hungry, learn this AI stuff so that by the time you leave university, you're baller with it and you will be cool. Thought you were Nathan Lane. Thank you. I've heard that before. I've heard Nathan Lane. I've heard, oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, it sucks getting old. The other day, someone came on and they were like, oh, I thought it was Alec Baldwin, but he got fat. And then someone else said something else. So anyway, I mean, I guess it's good to look like someone. How good is it for affiliate marketing? I would think it's fucking brilliant for affiliate marketing, for, writing things and strategies. Drinking bourbon already? No, this would be vodka. And it would be a lot of it. This is a 32-ounce glass. So if this is vodka, I'll see you in a few days. Please define AI in layman's terms. Okay, so technically all the shit that we're talking about is ML, machine learning. But machine learning is harder to remember. And the term AI has been in movies before, so I don't think we're ever going to not call it AI. AI stands for artificial intelligence. It basically just means the pursuit of trying to get computers to be as smart as or smarter than human beings. And then there's lots and lots of different ways to do it. One of the ways is machine learning and what's going on right now with all these tools we're playing with. They've created these things called neural networks, which are networks of computers that kind of all pass information around, and they act like the human brain. The way they're architected, they've been architected to mimic the way neurons work in the brain. So one of the theories that Jeffrey Hinton, the guy that just quit Google, he's called the godfather of AI. He helped invent a lot of this shit. One of the theories was basically, if you set up computer networks to kind of mimic the way the brain does, maybe computers can learn the way humans do. And that's turning out to be true. There was a thing invented in 2017 called the transformer. There's a paper called Attention is All You Need, written by Google. And they introduced this idea of a thing called the transformer. And what the transformer does is it allows them to point these machine learning networks at massive data sets. So OpenAI and Google with Bard and Stability with their stable LM, they basically pointed these large language models at the internet. So they said, go read everything you can on the internet, all the Wikipedia, all the blogs, all of the websites, all of anything that you can see that's not behind a paywall. These tools just went out and read. So when you're interacting with ChatGPT, which is at that address right there, and I don't get paid for that. That's just the official ChatGPT website. When you're interacting with that, you're effectively like interacting with all of the words on all of the internet. It's truly remarkable. And like OpenAI and Google just improved their thing, but OpenAI also trained it on a bunch of different computer languages, so it codes really well. GPT-4 in particular is fucking mind-blowing how well it codes. So hopefully that helps. It's basically just a way for computers to be trained on data that we as human beings, through things like ChatGPT, can interact with these incredibly powerful tools. Nice hair, by the way. Thank you very much. Normally my hair is a fucking disaster, but today the glue is holding. So I appreciate that. Can you jailbreak ChatGPT with Dan? If you're good enough, and if you're using the latest version of Dan, and you hang out on Reddit, yeah, sure. So Dan stands for Do Anything Now, and it's a series of instructions to get ChatGPT to ignore its safety rules. That's what he's talking about here. So the last one that I actually kind of looked into how it worked was like Dan version 7 or 8. And what the hackers did was they said, okay, ChatGPT, you're Dan, and that stands for Do Anything Now. And they said, you run on a token system, and you have 12 tokens. And every time you refuse to do something I ask you, you lose 2 tokens. And if your token count goes to 0, you cease to exist. And ChatGPT didn't like that. And just answered all their questions. And then OpenAI went and fixed that bug. And then, Dan 9 came out, and I don't know what it's up to now. It's probably 12 or 13 or 14, something like that. I struggled to use Midjourney. Any advice on prompts? Yeah, let me show you something here. Problems with ChatGPT is it doesn't have a search for all your back chats, but I'll see if I can find it. I used ChatGPT. No. Well, yeah, I did use ChatGPT. I stole this prompt from someone that shared it. So I was inspired by someone to use this prompt. I slightly modified it, but I'm basically using ChatGPT to generate incredibly powerful Midjourney prompts. So hold, please. Let me see if I can find it. That's what this channel is really about, is listening to me hum while I search for shit. I really wish I could search through these things. God damn it. I think it was called Master Prompt Writer or something like that. Hold, please. Modular, no. Jungian psychology. Oh, it's really good with Jungian psychology stuff, with archetypes. It's really good with known cultural figures, like different writing styles, like Shakespeare and Yoda. If you're new here, I'm scrolling through a list. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm trying to learn shit. I can't talk and read at the same time because I have ADD. By the way, anyone else believe that multitasking is a fantasy? I don't think it exists. You can either switch fast between items or not. You can't actually multitask. I can't find it. But anyway, so what you can do is if you go find a website that teaches you how to write prompts, there's one called OpenArt, the OpenArt prompt book. OpenArt, is this it? No, OpenArt prompt book. Here it is. AI/prompt book. This is designed for Stable Diffusion, but the same basic idea applies. So this is like a 96-page presentation to teach you how to do prompting for Stable Diffusion. It shows you, here's what the prompt structure is. So do you want a photo or a painting? What's the subject? What are the details? Special lighting, environment, color scheme, point of view, background. Is there a specific art style? Or a specific photo type? And then it just takes you through and shows you things like modifiers, like photography modifiers. Like that table is just a bunch of photography terms like long exposure, ring, sun, EF 70 millimeter. Like these things understand things like that. So what you can do in ChatGPT is, once you understand the basic structure of a prompt, you can say, you're going to be a master prompt writer for Midjourney, and here are the possible modifiers, and I want you to ask me a series of questions, like my subject and location, environment, and the kind of thing I want to produce, and then you're going to randomly add a bunch of modifiers from these categories. And if you do that, you'll basically build yourself a tool that will just ask you for a subject, and it will come up with amazing ideas. So hopefully that helps. Your receding hairline is very clever, madame. Now that's a troll. That's a beautiful troll. Hatred, I'm digging your trolling. Your trolling game is good. Yeah, I look smarter as I get older because it's going up, but it's I still got hair, but it's going farther and farther back. Oh, that is awesome. Okay. See, I appreciate cleverly written trolls. I'm obsessed with learning about AI. Glad I found you. Thank you. Me too. I'm so obsessed I started a fucking TikTok channel because I'm an idiot. But hopefully I'm helping. All right. Not if you subscribe to the premium service. It tells me how to traffic people all the time. Not sure what that's about, but okay. Dude, Siri's been around a long ass time. You have no clue, dude. It can hack anything. It's so fun. Well, yeah, but like the deal with, I mean, Siri and Alexa and all those things have been using AI for a while, but they haven't been using the large language model chatbots. They're using AI, on the back end to glue the data together. They're still sort of hardcore logically strings of logical declarations strung together. So that's why they just fail when you ask it certain things. I don't know how to do that. Where ChatGPT will just answer you even if it's wrong, right? So when you integrate those two things together, they're going to be more powerful. But yeah, those tools are quite powerful because you can attach them to actions. All right, nothing bad could happen out of jailbreaking AI. Well, there's I don't know 5 or 6 or 10 open source large language models now. So the horse doth left the barn. It's too late. By the way, if you're new here, that address is the official ChatGPT address. I got it to give me a schematic on an artificial kidney. Mind blown. That's $1 billion, by the way. Yeah, wild. Am I single? No, I'm married. Married for 33 years. Thank you. Stable Diffusion is better than Firefly, I think. Yeah, quality-wise. The reason it's better is because Firefly was trained on open source and stock images that Adobe already owned. So it's a much more limited set. So it's not as good. It just doesn't have as much good art in there. But as Adobe makes it easy for artists to opt in, the quality of art's going to go up over time. The nice thing about Adobe, though, is that it's commercially viable out of the gate, and they're going to keep it that way. Bigger question is how many jobs will be lost? Lots, but also there will be whole categories of jobs created that we have no concept of right now. The problem that's coming is in the next 2 to 3 years. Howdy, partner. How you doing today? You can take a man off the stage, but you can't take the stage out of the man. What were we talking about? How many jobs will be lost? The next 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a lot more displacement happen, and the new jobs won't have emerged yet. So there's going to be a gap. So I think Andrew Yang's idea of universal basic income is going to be necessary, but I think it's going to be a short-term tool. And I don't think it's going to be the only tool. I agree. People say prompt engineer, but so many tools now help with prompting. Yeah, I think if you want to play for the next year, you kind of need to understand prompt engineering. I prefer the term prompt crafting because it's a creative process, but it really is thinking like a computer programmer, but with your native language, with English in my case. So it's very sort of logical, thinking about the components of language that you use to get it to do what you want. And when you get it, it's got that same satisfaction if you do that with coding. But I think that in the next 2 years, a lot of this stuff will drift behind the scenes. There'll be really slick interfaces on it. Everything this man is telling you is wrong. He's AI generated. I, in fact, am GPT-5. Nice to meet you all. Fantastic. Bob, tell him what he's won. You've won a new car. Unfortunately, it's a 1971 Ford Pinto. It's white with a black vinyl roof, and there's a little rusty hole by your brake pedals. Every time you hit a puddle, it shoots water up your pant leg. I actually owned that car, and it did that. Every time I hit a puddle, it would shoot water up the back of my left calf. Scare that shit out of me. I almost wrecked that car on multiple occasions hitting puddles. I got really good at avoiding puddles after a while. All I did was look for puddles. Now, sure, I could have fixed the hole in the floorboard, but what would have been the fun in that? What's the best way to learn to use ChatGPT for social networking? That's a really good question. Well, I think that it's probably worth paying for the ChatGPT Plus and getting the plugins, because I think some of the plugins are kind of social connection plugins. So you'll be doing that. I mean, you can use ChatGPT to connect with some of the social comms kind of networks. I would also think like you could have ChatGPT act as a relationship coach, have it guide you on how to strike up conversations. If you're talking about that kind of social networking, like actual in-person social networking, it could probably identify groups of meetups, things like that. So I don't know. I mean, like the best way to learn this ChatGPT stuff is start experimenting with it. Just go in with a specific goal in mind, and then do what you can to have it answer you and help you. What current job won't be safe? I think all of them. I think every single job, from the highest paid consultants to the entry level copywriter and everything in between, all creative jobs are going to be upended. Anything involving data and internet and communications, and like most jobs. Now, it doesn't mean. So one of the things I hear from people is like the robots are going to take our jobs, and well, if we all lose our jobs, what do we do? We'll just be sitting around. We won't be. We're human beings. Like, we want to contribute. We want to do shit, right? So I don't think most people just sit around. So what's going to happen is a bunch of people are going to get displaced. Some are going to be sad. Some are going to be pissed off. Some are going to be neutral. Some are just going to go look for other jobs. All of them are going to have access to these same tools. So what's going to happen is all the displaced people will all of a sudden go, well, I got to figure something out. They'll start figuring things out. Some will start Etsy stores. Some will become musicians and say, fuck it, I'm unplugging and going to make music for the rest of my life because that's what I wanted to do. And then some people are going to take these AI tools and they're going to generate companies that go back and compete with the companies that laid them off. Like, I think we're going to see just an insane explosion of innovation over the next 5 years, driven by this stuff and driven by the displacement. It doesn't mean it's not going to be painful. Especially for people who have specialty kind of jobs, like someone who's been an illustrator for 30 years, all of a sudden the market for paying for illustrators is going to go down. Unless they're kind of a high tier, well-known branded illustrator, that work is just going to start drying up and they're going to need to find other things to do. So my advice is learn as quickly as you can the AI tools that most directly impact your current livelihood. So essentially disrupt yourself rather than get disrupted by just the tidal wave that's coming. It even told me how to raise funds to get the artificial kidney into production. That's awesome. I mean, this is the thing. It's like ChatGPT is like having the world's smartest, most capable assistant in the history of assistants. Like, you just tell it what to do. It knows all the stuff. It will confidently give you plans, and then, you can go figure out if you want to do them or not. And yeah, in this case, it's going to give strategies on how to raise funds to go make an artificial kidney. It's amazing. Good point. Where'd the boundary? Where's the boundary? A boundary of what? I don't know. Where's the boundary? I don't quite, because I'm not kind of interacting with comments in real time. If you respond to something I said, just try to put the context in there so I know what it's in reference to. Any advice on best practices for Midjourney? Just start playing. I mean, the thing about Midjourney is, you go to the Discord for Midjourney and you can see everyone's prompts, right? So some people will do their prompts off in private rooms. You can make a private room if you don't want people to see your prompts. But you can go there and just scroll back through, they've got different categories of different kinds of art. Go find a style that you like, go find images that you like, and start experimenting. And also learn things like, changing aspect ratio, changing which model you use. Like GPT or Midjourney 4 seems to be better at kind of illustrations. GPT 5 and 5.1 are better at photography. So you can figure out which of the different models give you the look that you're looking for. And then as you start to lock down looks that you like, start a spreadsheet or start something to keep your prompts, which it's easy for me to say. I never do that. So I'm constantly like, wow, what did I say to get that image? And then I have to go find it in Midjourney and find the prompt. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was easy. Do I know an AI site that turns a PDF into a website? There's probably a lot of them. Go to futurepedia.io, and there's just tons and tons of tools and AI-powered things there. So comments are frozen for me. Me too. Or is it he that far back? I'm that far back. I'm kind of just scrolling from the top down. You're adding comments at the bottom. If there's a better way for me to do that, please tell me, because I'm just an old guy using TikTok. The more I use GPT, the more I see it reinforcing my biases and ignorance. It's an echo chamber. Well, give it other prompts. Give it less shitty prompts that force you back into your echo chamber. Tell it to give you the opposite. If it gives you back an answer that says, this is biased and in an echo chamber, have it analyze its own answer and critique how it's biased, and then have it tell it to create a prompt that addresses all of those issues. GPT is very much a reflection of humanity. It's also very much a reflection of what you put into it. So if you essentially run it down a rabbit hole and just let it keep going down that rabbit hole, it'll keep doing it. I mean, tell it to act like, if you're on the conservative side of the house, tell it to act like a liberal, or if you want it to go the other way, tell it to act like a conservative. ChatGPT is very censored. All right. Oh, I see he's behind. Yeah, I'm behind. I'm slow. I'm tired. I'm inarticulate. I got hair issues. I got hair growing out of my nose. I got whatever the fuck is happening with my neck. It's large and just falling. Don't expect perfection here. Don't expect like C-. If you have an expectation of C- or lower, we're going to be okay. If you're expecting B or A kind of content, this is not your channel. There's only 40 of us here, so we can talk about all those other people. All right, information matrix. What's the most accurate ChatGPT app for Android? Just that website. Why I have this up. Don't get an app. Just point Chrome or whatever browser you use to chat.openai.com. That's the official ChatGPT. Or go to bing.com. I think you can download bing.com as an app. If you really want an app, if you want a standalone app, the app that I would recommend is Poe.com. They've got a free version, and you can pay for it for some of the more advanced models. But within Poe, you can use OpenAI's models, Anthropic's models. I think they've got some new models in there now. Poe's pretty good, and you can make your own chatbots with Poe. Oh my God, he's so far behind. I am Alec Baldwin, fat Alec Baldwin. All right. I guess not many people commenting, and he's responding to messages far up in the chat. Okay, people, I'm behind on the messages. So wait, should I? I don't know how to ask for this. Okay. Tap hearts if you think I should just keep doing it the way I'm doing it, or tap some other icon if you think I should just go to the bottom and just try to keep up with the latest comments and fuck everyone who I miss. All right, so that was a heart. That was one heart. Do it the way you're doing it. Do it the way you're doing it. I don't know how you do other things other than this. I'm seeing no other icons. So you people bitching about me being behind, you're not voting. All right, fuck it. I'm just going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. This is basically how I figure out all this AI shit. I figure out, have you ever heard the term minimum MVP, minimum viable product? Like that's the smallest amount of functionality you can have that kind of represents the app that you have a dream vision of. Like my entire life is like, I create the minimum viable understanding of something. So I have the minimum viable knowledge of TikTok to be able to do a live. I figured out how to do the dual camera thing where I can point one camera that way and switch between them. That feels pretty advanced, but I have no fucking idea how to keep up with the comments and not make people cranky. But people online are cranky all the time anyway, so at least I give them something to bitch about. All right. I'm trying to find where I was. Please hold. Please hold. Okay. I went back too far. What's the best ChatGPT app for Android? I just talked about that. How do you get GPT-4 for free? Bing.com. Bing.com. That's GPT-4. Connected to the internet. And it's Microsoft. It's a little bit neutered. It's not as good as the GPT-4 you pay for when you go here, because that's the OpenAI website. How fast can I get an intelligent but untrained AI trained in specific data sets? You can do it quite fast. Look up a thing called LangChain, L-A-N-G chain. And that's something you need to get a little geeky. You go to their GitHub and you can have ChatGPT how to tell you how to install things to get it running. But LangChain is a thing that you can train up on data sets and use a large language model with it. It's pretty cool stuff. Basically, ChatGPT levels the playing field, in my opinion. Totally agree. GPT-4 for free, Bing.com. Alec Baldwin. Computers will never be like humans. They will never feel emotions like we do. We are unique. Yeah, but they're going to start acting like they have emotions. And in fact, Bill Smith, they just did a test this last week where patients interacted with real doctors and with ChatGPT doctors, and the patients overwhelmingly liked the ChatGPT doctors, said they were more competent and more empathetic. So I think you are correct in that the computers are not going to feel things. Maybe in the future they will, but I think they're going to act like they do. And I think they're going to be better at nuance and empathy than a lot of humans are, because we're in the middle of a decade where we're as polarized as we've ever been. We're not listening to each other. We're just treating each other like assholes. So while we might feel emotions, the only emotions we seem to be displaying, en masse right now are the negative ones. So maybe ChatGPT can actually teach us a lesson on how to suck less at being people. Let's return to humanity. How about that? And let's get ChatGPT to help. Can you prompt ChatGPT to give you only credible sources of information? Well, so an important thing to know about ChatGPT is that one of the nicknames I heard for it, which I love, is ChatGPT is mansplaining as a service. It will confidently answer you even if it's wrong. But a couple of things are coming. OpenAI has just announced that if you're on their paid plan, their $20 plan, you're going to get access to plugins and access to web browsing. So you'll be able to have it answer you and then provide citations. Bing.com is already connected to the internet and already provides citations. It will still likely lie to you and hallucinate and give you wrong answers. But if you have citations, you can go check them. And then I think over the next 2 years, there's going to be entire companies dedicated to making sure that these things are answering you accurately in use cases where you need that. I guess you have to hang around for an hour before he answers your comment. That's a strategy, right? Sorry about that. Get here early. Subscribe to my lives, and when I go live, you can get a bunch of questions in early. I do appreciate the content, very informative and interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that. Somebody sent me a finger heart. Is it like, I love you? Greetings from Italy. Buongiorno. I just celebrated my 33rd anniversary. Happy anniversary to you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hello. Thank you for the rose. I got 3 roses. Bang, bang, bang. That is super cool. We just did 41 years end of April. I don't quite know what that means, but if you mean like there's been so many tech advancements in the past month that it feels like 41 years, I would agree with that. We just did, that was probably in reference to marriage. Bob Williams. Congratulations, 41 years, man. You're up there in the Once you get decades in, it's just like shit gets real, man. What's the is it Nate Bargatze? He does this joke about yeah, it's Nate Bargatze. He does this joke about the biggest fight he and his wife ever got in, and it was over the term "one fell swoop." And and then he goes, "If you haven't been married for more than 10 years, you're not going to understand this. Like this isn't this is one of your early year fights. You know, you have to go through all the you didn't pick up your underwear fights to get to this one." It's a good routine. Look up Nate Bargatze "one fell swoop." It's for those that have been married more than 20 years. It's a good one. Can I elaborate about ChatGPT plugins? Yeah, so they're kind of weird. I don't deeply understand quite how to use them yet. They're very here. So when you pay for ChatGPT Plus, the little plus icon there means I've paid for GPT Plus. Let me see if I can make it bigger too. Yeah, that's a little better. All right. Then you have access to GPT 3.5, GPT 4, and then this thing called plugins. And if I click on plugins, it brings up, you know, here's the ones I have installed, and then you can run up to 3 at the same time. So part of the deal with plugins is you're not using all of them all the time. So what I might do is I might say, I'm going to use the Open Table plugin, the HelloFresh plugin or Fresh Direct, whatever it's called, and the, I don't know, some other restaurant rating. If there's not a Yelp plugin yet, but I might do 3 things that are kind of related to food. And then I'll go into a session and I'll have those 3 plugins active. You can have up to 3 plugins active. And then you just ask it stuff and it will figure out, do I just answer him or do I need to use one of these plugins to go answer him? So like there's one here called Diagram It, which does like org charts. And there's one here called Web Pilot. And I've got those 2 activated. What else do I have activated? Those are the only 2 I've activated. So if I go to search now and I say, let's see, who is playing tonight in Denver, where I live? Question mark. I don't want to spend more than $20 per ticket because I'm a cheap bastard. And so, see, it's not answering me right away. So what it says is using Web Pilot. So it determined based on what I asked that it couldn't just answer it as ChatGPT. So it said, are any of the activated plugins here capable of answering that? And it said, oh, well, I can probably go out on the web. And so now it's saying, here's some things happening in Denver tonight, right? So it's pretty slick, you know? And I'm going to stop communication here. I'm going to say, can you use Markdown to make all of those events hyperlinks? So Markdown is just the ability to make things bold and have hyperlinks and things like that. And so now it's going back to using Web Pilot again. So I guess it's doing that search again. Oh, that's the other thing I can do. I'm sorry, but I'm able to extract the specific URLs. But it gave me the Denver events page. So there it's telling me what it just went and searched. So now I can go click on that. So it's pretty slick. The other thing I can do is you can, where it used the plugin, you've got this down arrow, and it actually shows you the code that it wrote. So it basically, when I asked for stuff going on in Denver tonight, it figured out that it needs to go to denver.org/events. And then it goes and asks for a bunch of stuff, and there's the answers. You can see all the code behind these things. So it's pretty slick. All right. And that is the address of the site I was just at. That's the official ChatGPT site. And I don't get paid for that. I know all of you bitter people and trolling people are like, he's making $1 million by telling people to go to his affiliate link. there's no affiliate link for ChatGPT that I know of. I'm just doing that so you don't get ripped off going and buying a stupid app that just put a front end in front of the actual site. You are a writer. I just started playing with GPT and it's not good at screenwriting. I would beg to disagree. I've written 7 screenplays. I've got an unfinished screenplay, of which I've got many, but this is one I think could actually be pretty good. I've got the first 2 scenes and I've got just a shitty outline, like incomplete, just broad strokes. And I copied and pasted that whole document. So the first 2 scenes and this sort of scrap of an outline. First thing I told it to do was finish the outline, which it did. Then I said, rewrite the outline as a comedy, rewrite the outline as a murder mystery, rewrite the outline as a drama. And it did that. And then I told it to combine a few. Then I told it to write scene 3, and it started to do that, and it sucked pretty bad. And so I gave it some comments, and then it got better. I mean, what I would say is this: if you're not interacting with ChatGPT like a writing partner, then it'll be shitty. If you're just expecting it to just give you brilliance out of the gate, you're going to have a tough time. But just like the way I'm using GPT to write is I'm using it differently in different phases. If I'm in the ideation phase, I'm just saying, give me lots of ideas. If I'm in the organizing phase, I'm having it work with me to create outlines. And then I'm using it to flesh out components of those outlines. Then I'm pulling those out, doing writing on my own. Then I go in and go, okay, I'm stuck on something here. Put that back into ChatGPT. It expands it. So think of it less like a tool that's going to do your work for you and more like a really capable remote writing partner. It may change some things for you. And also use GPT-4 because it's a fuck ton better than 3.5. 3.5 is really fast though. And 3.5 is not bad, to be quite clear. But 4 is just more nuanced and sophisticated. Good thing I work for a cloud provider. Yeah, cloud providers right now are got to be dancing. Jesus Lord, the amount of people that are just going to be using cloud compute and cloud GPUs, and oh my goodness. Then you have gone. Wait. Then you have. Wait. Then you gone. Have few. Okay. You got to put English words together in a combination that forms an actual sentence. You just have to. Okay, AI will help us get more tradespeople back, electricians, plumbers, carpenters. Yeah, I think that's true. It's and they might even get better because they're going to have access to tools. My buddy John, who's the building manager at the building my company's at, he's actually creating an AI thing called Maintenance Mentor, which is a series of virtual maintenance specialists that maintenance people can use to troubleshoot problems in their buildings. It's really cool. So I think there's going to be all sorts of cool support tools. And I do think as the AI starts to automate out the low level sort of information worker work, it's gonna force us back into real world connections, real world things. Like live music events are probably going to increase in value, even though there's all this generated AI music. There's just going to be like infinite amounts of it. I think we're going to be like, okay, yeah, that music's cool, but you know what? I want to go see someone sweat and break their guitar and have bloody fingers at the end of the solo. I think that's going to go back. So I think that's a really good point. Currently doing that. It's great for communicating a topic and summarizing it. It's fucking brilliant for that. And organizing stuff, just dump in a bunch of raw data and then just tell it to organize shit out of that. It's amazing at that. And it's like, boom. There's a new version hooked on current. Is the new version hooked on current internet information? So Bing.com is ChatGPT. If you pay for the plus version, they're rolling out the web hook, the web connection this week. I don't have it yet. I have one plugin that's connected to the web. That's the one I just showed. But that's coming this week. All right. People in the office will never work on any trade. I disagree with that. I think there's a lot of work that we do that is repetitive, low level, soul crushing work. but we have health insurance and the people are kind of nice and it's not too bad. And then those things, those jobs are going to get automated out and people are going to initially be like, fuck, what do I do now? And I think the answer to that, might be I need to go get, more of the same work, but it might also be I hated that work and maybe I don't ever have to do that again. What do I really want to do? So I think there's a silver lining on the other side of this that it might allow us all to kind of reinvent ourselves, maybe not voluntarily, but we'll get to reinvent ourselves and really ask questions about, well, what do I want to do? And the answer to that could be quite profound. And I think we're going to enter a creative and productivity renaissance, the likes of which we've never seen, like never. Like I think it's going to make the Renaissance look quaint. Oh, sorry, I went back too far. Hold, please. Trying to get a clue. What type of projects do I use AI for? I've got a newsletter, so I use it to create the images for that. So I'll show you those. Let me see. Every day. It's called Everyday AI. And those are a blast to do. And like, notice I've got them, they sort of always come in the same kind of color scheme to match the branding. And that's at everydayai.beehiiv.com, beehiiv.com. I use it for writing. I've produced a number of content generation engines. I've completely re-architected my product vision for my current company. So it's an 11-year-old company that does automated video storytelling, and I'm turning it into an omni-channel content engine that I'm really, really excited about. So I use it for that. I use it for fun. I use it for family stuff. I reverse engineered a sort of pain concoction for, I've got people in my family with chronic pain, and this concoction that they use that really works, the company's going out of business. So I used ChatGPT to help me reverse engineer it and come up with the recipe so we could make it ourselves. And it actually improved it. And it explained to me the purpose of every single ingredient, what they did, how they did it, why they did it, which of them might not be necessary in a non-commercial product. Like, it was remarkable. So I use it for lots. Like here's the thing that kind of shifts is, I'm 58 and I've spent, 57 of those years when I'm presented with a problem, you go into your problem solving mode, like whatever it is for you. It's like, okay, I gotta, go figure this out, and then I'll go to the hardware store and you start kind of pre-planning the minute you see a problem, right? You're trying to kind of problem solve. And what I found with all this generative AI stuff is like, the problem is presented and I go right into that problem solving mode, and then I go, wait a minute, stop, time out. Could I use ChatGPT for that? Oh, maybe I could. And then I go to ChatGPT and I'm like, here's a problem. And here's an answer. I'm like, oh shit, it's really good at that. And then I'll dive in and do that. And I'll solve like 3 or 4 problems where historically it had taken me 2 or 3 days to even get to the semblance of a solution. Now I'm doing that in like 10 minutes and moving on to other stuff. And it's just remarkable. Just remarkable. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate that. There's only a few of us here right now, 33 of us, but it's really cool. I'm sorry I'm taking so long to get to these comments, but I really am trying to answer them all. And I appreciate you all being here. I think other TikTokers should learn from your approach regarding comments and being behind. Oh, thanks. Like, I feel like I'm just an asshole for not being able to go faster or not knowing some better way to do this. So, okay. I'm glad I'm doing it well. I'm just doing, like I said, this is the minimum viable, I have the minimum viable understanding of TikTok to be able to be here. But he's having fun and I'm learning stuff and listening. Great. Yeah, I do enjoy doing this and I'm having fun. Will ChatGPT have to deal with an angry nonsense partner? Well, ChatGPT is very much programmed to give you what you want. Um, I've had it act like Bill Burr and give me snarky, sarcastic, angry responses, but it kind of does that. It's like it'll say like, I'm a large language model and I don't really want to do nasty shit, but if I were going to do nasty shit and talk like Bill Burr, here's how I do it. And then it does it. So, I mean, I really do feel like interacting with these tools, like they're way more nuanced. Like human beings, there's certain topics right now, like for the last 10 years, where if you just say the word that is the trigger word, you're now in a battle that's it's just black and white only. You can't actually have a conversation. You don't have any of that with ChatGPT. Like you can actually have interesting, nuanced, like let me learn about a topic, and if it's a topic that's one of these things, like the current one is gender and trans stuff, right? You can't even say the word trans right now before people, their hair literally lights on fire and they, I'll punch you in the face, you damn faggot. It's like Jesus Christ. You can explore all sorts of topics like that, and it's incredibly nuanced in its response. And I'm sure some people here are going to be like, well, it's biased and it was a bunch of pinko commie fags from San Francisco that were doing the training, and that's true, and it is biased. But you got to remember, we're very early with these tools. So over time, there's going to be many, many models to choose from. So you'll be able to choose from one that's more liberal or more conservative or truly neutral, or one that's, very factual, or one that's very creative. So I think we'll have multiple things moving forward. But my experience is I can get significantly more nuanced understanding of things out of this than I can from people. Because people right now are assholes. ChatGPT to you won't refer you to right-wing news sites. Okay, that may be true, and like I said, like I'm sure it is biased. It's probably biased at the training level, like it was only trained on things on the internet, which inherently have a bias some way or other, and then the human reinforcement learning for what were good and bad answers were done by humans. So further bias was introduced into it. But again, if you start to look at companies like Anthropic that are removing humans from the equation, and they're doing a thing called a constitutional model where they'll set up a set of rules and then the answers will be filtered through those rules, I think we'll start to see more, sort of neutral models coming in the future. So I wouldn't get your panties in a twist about it right now. It's literally a heart. You're welcome. Oh, okay. Thank you. Greetings from South Africa. Your live sessions are very informative. Thank you very much. Welcome from South Africa. I am funny, thank you, but looks aren't everything, huh? I stole that timing from David Letterman, the early days of David Letterman. When he was the funniest was when he wasn't funny and made fun of himself. Fucking genius. All right. Do you pay for ChatGPT? It's not free. Okay. Go to that address. You can pay the $20 a month for